Right guys, thanks for joining me for the next episode of the DMR Build Series. As you can see, we have thrown some paint on it now. I do apologise that I didn't document the process. The main reason being is because it took an awful lot longer than I expected, sort of in between the coats and everything, and also it took me a while before I was happy with it. Different sort of colours and different patterns and stuff to sort of find a pattern that I liked. I'm still not 100% happy with it, if I'm completely honest. I think it's too green, especially in these sort of lighter areas here and here. There's just specks where it's quite bright green, and that's fine at the moment, but in a couple of months' time, there's only really going to be the darker greens out there. So over the next couple of months, I will darken down some of the areas with some more of the darker greens, and also a few more brown areas. But for now, I think it's okay and I'm happy with it. So we'll rock with this for now and yeah, see how we get on basically. Let me just grab the camo pens for you quickly so I can show you how I did this process. Right, so as you know, we spray painted the whole gun tan to start with, just so we had a base. Going forward, if I was to do that again, I think I would go for a brown or a darker tan base. It's very light, and obviously in certain areas it really sort of stands out. So I do have to go over this with a bit more of a fine tooth comb just to fill in any little sort of spots, because it almost looks grey against the green and the brown colours that I've added. So, but yeah, camo pens is what we use to decorate it. This is the woodland pack, so it comes with 5 colours. They are black, which barely got used, pine, sage, which are the main 2 greens that I used, and earth, which is the main brown I used, and also this olive. Sorry, it was the olive and the sage were the main ones. The pine, I found it to be a bit bluey. So this one here is the pine. It's just a little bit blue, for my opinion, so I didn't add a lot of it. It's just got a couple of little specks here and there. So that and the black barely got used. These were the 3 main pens that I used. I'd have liked to have another brown, maybe one that was slightly lighter and one that was slightly darker. But what I did end up doing is mixing a bit of the black in with some of the brown in a palette, mixing it up and then using a sponge, just an odd bit of sponge that I had to apply it, just to get some of the darker brown areas, because I'll try and highlight it. Sort of this area here along the under here and around here is quite light brown, and obviously you can see here and here it's darker. That is the mix, because it was looking way too bright and I needed to dull it down a bit. It's still looking a bit bright, but I will work with it and see how we get on once we've crafted it. So yeah, that's the camo pens. Next is to apply some ghillie grass and mesh and raffia and all the good stuff. That is why I put this scapper tape on here. As you can see, I've punched a hole through the tape with this tool. I think it's called an awl tool or an owl tool. It's basically a spike with a handle. A skewer will do the same job, and you just poke it through, and obviously you get one of these small cable ties. These are 2.5mm, and thread it through, and that leaves you a loop to obviously attach your mesh. So I've got various colours here. This is all the KMCS winter pack stuff. So it comes with 2 browns, this sort of more orangey, darker brown, and then a sort of paler tan brown as well. So they're the 2 colours that we're mainly using. I have got these 2 greens as well, but I think we might use some of the dark green, but the light green is probably a no-go, because we've already got a few light spots on here and I don't want it to be too bright, because we're not in that season anymore. So we'll put that to the side for now. I have got some of these sort of, what are they called? It's like a bit of ropey, coconut rope, that's what it's called. So it's coconut rope with cable ties threaded through it, and I've attached AGM and fake leaves to this, and I'm not going to use this one because it's too green, but I have put a couple on here with some browns on them, and there's a little bit of green on this one. It just breaks up the shape of the rifle a little bit, so when you're looking down at it from the enemy's perspective as such, obviously the more you can break up the shape of the rifle, it's the same as your body. They're going to be looking for our eyes know what to look for when we're looking through the woods when we're playing the game. We look for upright, obviously human silhouettes, or usually dark black barrels poking out of crates or bushes or whatever it might be. So if you can break that shape up, so when they're looking down the barrel at you, and you can make the rifle look different effectively, so it doesn't look like a normal rifle, they're less likely to catch on to you. So I've always done this on my sort of rifles that I've used with my ghillie suit, mainly around the scope and the upper receiver area, and it fills in some of these gaps, so it makes it look more uniform, like a one big colourful blob. And I just think it looks better, or looks more natural when you're looking down from the front. So that is why I've added these here, but I have got a few more loops to fill in. So let's add some of this. I don't know, this isn't AGM, but this is what I would just call them cottons, I guess, ghillie cottons. So what I tend to do is I tend to grab a couple of them, usually, or roughly a similar size. They don't have to be exact. Obviously this one's a bit smaller than the one underneath. Put them across each other at like an angle, pinch it together, and then we're going to loop it through the cable tie, tighten that down. Just before we fully fasten it, we'll just spread the leaves out a bit. Say leaves, spread the cotton out a bit so it looks like leaves, and then we can tighten that down for the last final clicks, and obviously just snip off the excess. And you can see already that's really broken up that area with that in there like that. Looking in the camera, yeah, it looks really good. So there was another cable tie in here somewhere. There's one there. I might just add a little section of the lighter leaves as well, just so it's not one big brown blob. Just got to try and break it up a little bit. Just a couple of the smaller ones, we'll pop them in there, tighten that down, spread them out, last final clicks, and then we cut off the excess. So to save boring you for the next 10 minutes while I do this, I'll go into fast forward mode. One thing to be aware of though is you want to make sure your optics are clear, both sides, because you don't want anything crossing over, obviously blocking your shot when you're aiming down your scope. So I'll fill in a little bit more here. Actually, quickly before we go into fast forward mode, I'll do a bit of raffia for you just to show you the technique for that. So this all comes pre-dyed and combed in the pack, the KMCS winter pack. So a lot of the hard work's done for you. So I tend to grab a bunch of it and just sort of pull it and push it so it's not uniform. You want it to be different lengths and stuff like that. I do a technique where I loop it around my finger to create a loop. That loop then goes, we'll go for the middle one. That loop goes through the cable tie, and then you loop it back on itself by putting the excess raffia. We'll try that again. It can be a bit fiddly, especially when you put them at different lengths, because they don't all want to go through uniform. So yeah, we'll create the loop, stick that through, and then with the excess, we will grab it, pull it back through the loop on itself, and then with that we can tighten that down to the cable tie, and then the cable tie can go tight. And what that does is, rather than, you can put it through, just put it straight through and put the cable tie down, but then you end up with sort of quite a flat appearance. I find if you do this where you sort of loop it round on itself, it comes out a bit more, it's a bit more 3D. It comes up towards, out from the rifle. Again, create that distortion of shape and everything we're trying to look for while we're doing this. So obviously when I've finished this, I will have a little good look down the optic just to make sure nothing is crossing or disturbing the line of sight. So, right, to save boring you, we'll go into fast forward mode and I'll see you guys in a couple of seconds. Right, so we've stuck quite a bit on there. We do need to add some more, but that's all I'll show you for now, because obviously you've seen the technique and everything else. In the next video, when we come to breaking open the rifle and putting the new HPA engine in there, which I have ordered and it's on its way. I didn't go for the Kythera in the end either, so it'll be a bit of a surprise when it arrives, but I'm quite excited. But when we break it open, obviously come back to this rifle, hopefully by then I would have finished all of the ghillie stuff, so it'll be ready once the HPA engine goes in for testing. Next video will be upgrades on the hop unit, because it's got a, well, standard M4 rotary hop in there at the moment. I am going to try and use that hop if I can. I've got some parts to put into it to hopefully get it lifting those heavier BBs, because with this I am planning on using, well, 4s at the lowest weight, hopefully 4 5s, if we can get it capable of doing that, which I know we can if we change the whole hop unit, but I'm hoping we might be able to do something with the current hop unit and see how we get on. So that's it for today, guys. Thank you for watching as always. If you're interested in more content like this or gameplay footage, I'm trying to upload a bit of everything at the moment to see what you guys are interested in. So leave a comment and let me know what videos you like, what videos you don't like, if I could improve on anything. I'm open to, let's call it constructive criticism, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching. Bye.